Sir Alan Meale and Sir David Crousby, welcome to our Parliamentary Assembly Media Box platform. You are a member of the UK Parliament, both of you.
That's right.
Yes, and I would like to ask you especially on Iran, because there are lots of discussions over the situation in Iran, and especially on the role of Iran in the region. So starting from there, what does the 10-point platform of the opposition leader present?
Well, the 10-point plan, which is being proposed by the President and the party of oppositions who are outside of Iran, it's very, very clear the best chance they've got, because it puts into perspective the democratic needs and aspirations of the people of Iran. We were in a terrible situation at the present time with the regime that is currently in control. So I think it offers opportunity and democracy to the people of Iran and a future of it in the region.
Especially on the situation of human rights in Iran, what would you like to say about that, Sir David Crousby?
Well, there are clearly problems with human rights in Iran, and we've got to use a democratic process to resolve them. So that's why Alan is completely right. As far as the 10-point plan is concerned, we need to make progress.
Can I just
yes,
add a little
please.
bit on that?
Yes,
because
please.
This is the home, the Council of Europe, of democracy, the rule of law, and what we have a situation in Iran is totally unacceptable. You have thousands of people incarcerated in prisons. You get in around about 1,000 executions, and we're against the death penalty in the Council of Europe. 1,000 executions a year. In the last 10 years, there's been a lot of children who've been executed, and there are more waiting on death row. I think there's about 160 at the present time. So it's a totally unacceptable state of affairs that these things are happening. The highest level outside of China of any country in the world that does executions. It has to stop. It's against humanity and against human rights.
And what about the last deadly attack against the Iranian refugee camp, Camp Liberty in Iraq?
In Camp Liberty.
In Camp Liberty, yeah. What
well,
would you like to say
there's
that?
continuous attacks on Camp Liberty, despite the fact that it's supposed to be protected by the United Nations. There's a failure by the free world to insist on that happening. And frequently, either Iran or cohorts of the Iranian regime, either from Iraq or the surrounding countries, go in there and they drag people away, they assassinate people, they beat people up and so on. And the people of Iran have a diktat from the United Nations saying that those in Camp Liberty have to be protected. And it's not occurring. And the world is not to stand idly by, but actually insist that happens.
So it's important to underline the role of the international community, and now we are in the House of the Council of Europe. So what could you recommend to the other members and Council of Europe members, for example, from that point?
Well, there's constant discussion about Iran and civil liberties here in the Council of Europe. So I don't think it's a question of us recommending things to them. The members of the Council of Europe are very much aware of the human rights abuses that occur in Iran. We've got the job of keeping them on the front burner, really, effectively, not so much making recommendations to what are a group of very sophisticated politicians, but to keep the issue alive and up at the front of people's agenda.
What we want is not the present regime or system that we have there. We don't want a theocracy. We want a democracy where everybody's free to move or say whatever they feel, within the bounds of the law, of course. But if you have that, freedom of movement, freedom to stand for Parliament, freedom to express their views, freedom of religion, freedom between men and women, all the way. What we expect in the West is normality. We have to insist on that. The Iranian people are given that. And those people who aren't in Iran because they've had to flee, they have to be allowed back because they're citizens of that country.
Thank you for joining us and for all your contributions, sir.
Thank you.